You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
Here he goes in. Hold it down! How about a poster? Anthony Davis is on fire!
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're now listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network. I'm Big Q, chiming with you. This podcast, 239 on the Pelican Postgame Report. That's right, 239, as we covering a trifecta of Pelican games in the preseason. Got them all covered for you. We're going to recap them all today with stats, facts, and breakdown in our usual professional manner. We're going to let you know what's going on with our PELS. So, of course, like we always do on the Pelican Postgame Report, I'd like to give a round of applause to you for joining us on the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network. This is a big shout out to our established listeners and our new listeners of the Pelican Postgame Report. We invite you guys to share us with other Pelican fandom out there as we continue to strive forward to build our brand here and cover our beloved New Orleans Pelicans. Now going into today's show, it's a Pelican trifecta on podcast 239. We're recapping all three of the top preseason games, starting with the PELS versus the Bulls, lost 128-116. We'll break it down. The loss to Atlanta, 116-102. The PELS lost to the Knicks 106-100. We'll break it down with interviews from Coach Gentry, Anthony Davis, and others. We also introduce to the show what we call the Pelican Post-Game Report Question of the Day, or the PPR Question of the Day. We'll reveal that to you and let you know. Of course, the question of the day for you to ponder on is who's the best option? Who is the best option at the wing position for the New Orleans Pelicans? Break that down for us. Let us know what you think in the comments section. Of course, comments will be read on the next show. So without further ado, let's get right on into it. On today's episode, looking at the Pelicans' first game of the season, they went up to the United Center to battle with the Chicago Bulls. It turned out to be a pretty nice crowd of attendance. About almost 18,000 people attended this matchup. Not a bad turnout for the first preseason games with the Bulls. And of course, Pelicans didn't get the win. Although Frank Jackson looks really good, man. His first full actions of play, Frank looked good. Before we talk about Frank, let's look at some of these team statistics from the Pelicans. They shot 45%, which is not bad. Pretty good for a shooting percentage for a team. The only problem is the Bulls were 49%, and it's hard to beat a team that's shooting that high. If you're shooting 48% or better, you know, if another team, your opponent, it's going to be very difficult to beat the team, despite the fact the Pelicans were 33% from the three-point line, while the Bulls were a stinky 22%. New Orleans continuing the role of being turnover prone in this game. They had 18 turnovers in this matchup, as Chicago's kept theirs down to only 11. Then they were out rebounded by the Bulls 52-45 during this game. You look at some of the statistics, the breakdown. Of course, the top scorer on this team through minutes was Jrue Holiday. He had 18 minutes, 7 of 9, shooting 2 of 4 from downtown. 16 points for Jrue, 4 assists to go with it. Julius Randle in this game, his first game as a Pelican in the preseason, 15 points, 5 rebounds in 25 minutes. He was 5 of 8. Of course, he tried to shoot the 3 from downtown, 0 for 2, 5 of 8 from the free throw line. But Julius Randle looking good, adding that strength, very fast, very strong. You know, he's the guy that the Pelicans really need. Seeing Anthony Davis play that center position, 13 points in limited action, 16 minutes in the game, only 4 rebounds in the game as he came back to his hometown to play. Etwine Moore finished with 7 points in the starting capacity, with Elfrid Payton struggled in this one. 2 of 10 shooting, 25 minutes of action, although he did get 8 rebounds and dished out 4 assists, but turned the ball over about 3 times, same as AD and Julius Randle. Off the bench, a lot of production. They wanted to see what Frank Jackson could do. He played 19 minutes. He was 5 of 14, 4 of 8 from downtown, but he was active. 6 rebounds in the game, had 1 dish, had 16 points on the night for Frank Jackson. A very interesting day for him. Garland Green had 9 points in the game, although he struggled shooting from the field. He was 1 of 4 from downtown as well, but he did get most of his points at the free throw line, 6 of 6. Then you throw in the contributions of Troy Williams, 11 minutes in the game, 4 of 7, 1 of 3 from downtown, finished with 9 points in the game. Ian Clark finished with 8. So did Jahlil Okafor, 17 minutes, 4 of 7 on the field goals, 8 points, 7 rebounds in this game. Sheik Diallo had 4 points. Now, of course, Jahlil Okafor ultimately did get hurt in this game. And, of course, we knew Nikolai Mirotic was out because of a left Achilles tendonitis. Darius Miller didn't play because of a bicep injury. And, of course, they're still holding Alexis Jink out with that right quad injury. I don't know what's going on with him. And, of course, Jared Jack and Trevon Blewett did not play. They were DMP'd by the coach. So, interesting night of action for the Chicago Bulls. Before we talk any more about it, let's hear what Coach Gentry has to say about his team's performance against the Bulls.
Well, I think there was a lot of positives. And, I mean, obviously there's a lot of things that we got to work on. But, you know, I thought we played with pretty good pace. I think we got to do a little bit better job with our ball movement. You know, in a game like this, 23 assists is probably not where we should be. We should probably be, closer to 30 than we are, 20. I think there's some other things that we got to work on, obviously, but I do like the fact that we push the basketball. I still think that there's a gear that we've got to get to that we play with consistently that I didn't think we had tonight. And then obviously we got to get better defensively. We didn't do a very good job. First of all, we turned the ball over too much. 18 turnovers for 23 points. We don't want to give up 23 points on our turnovers, and then we didn't force enough, obviously. I think they had a 9 or 10 turnovers for 13 points or something, so we got to do a better job with that also.
Coach, what do you think of Elfrid Payton running your offense for the first time?
I thought he did a good job. I thought he did a good job. Obviously, we got to get better. Some things, he's got to get better in some things, and a little hesitant, but I think, he's going to be okay. He's going to be fine.
Any of the young players stick out to you tonight, Coach?
Oh, I thought all of them at one time did something that was, we had a lineup in there also where we had a couple of guys playing out of position, so it's hard to judge them on that. But, I thought Julius did a good job tonight. I'm not worried about Drew and AD. Obviously, they're going to be fine. And, we're obviously a different team with Nico in the rotations also.
What'd you think of Frank tonight? It seemed like he was really aggressive in his first game.
I think so also. I think he's a real confident guy anyway. Had some things that he did real well. I thought driving the ball to the basket. He also, I thought his shot selection was really good. There was a couple where he made a couple and then, had to have a couple of heat checks there. But, that's to be expected, I think, from a young player right now. But, for the most part, I'm happy with it. Obviously, you don't want to give up 120-plus points. But for us right now, we've got to get our offense to the point where we're running consistently. And then I think if we cut down on the turnovers, obviously we're going to cut down on the points that we give it.
That's Coach Gentry telling you about his thoughts on the game. Of course, all the high turnovers by the Pelicans, but that's to be expected. You got a new team out there, okay, and the guys trying to learn how to play together, and they'll get better. Of course, it's going to take a little bit, but I'd rather them lose in the preseason to figure it out before they get into the regular season and go into a 0-3 or 0-4 hole. You never want to start the season out that way. But the Bulls had very good production off most of their players. They had 3 players that scored 21 points apiece, including Zach LaVine, Bobby Portis off the bench, and Antonio Blakeney. This is the guy that came over from the LSU Tigers. Remember him? He played there with Ben Simmons. But 21 points from those 3 gentlemen, and the Pelicans go down 128 to 116 in this affair. Now, we have another interview to play by one Frank Jackson, who played really well in this game. Let's see what Frank Jackson had to say about his performance against the Bulls.
Yeah, no, I think, great coaching staff. A lot of teammates have confidence in me, and this is what the preseason for. Getting out our kinks, and I just look to stay aggressive. And after I hit that first one, it felt pretty good.
you watched that playoff run. It had to be so hard last year. And how could you be contributing right now?
It was definitely tough, and at the same time, I learned a lot. But it was definitely hard watching and not being able to, play the game I love. But yeah, it was. I'm excited for this year for sure, and just to play a full season. God forbid, I want to stay healthy, but I'm excited.
You mentioned being aggressive. Was that something that you set out to do tonight and make sure that you were aggressive?
I think from the moment I played pick up the ball, I've always wanted to be aggressive. That's just my nature and what I can bring to the table. But I try to stay aggressive as I can.
That's Frank Jackson, man. Upbeat never. I mean, this guy's a tremendous athlete. 16 points in the game, shooting 5 of 14 from the field. Gotta improve that. That's a little progress on the hands of Frank Jackson coming back all these massive injuries. Of course, the Pelicans, like I ran down a lot of their earlier stats, field goal percentage and whatnot. Now, 24 assists versus 23 assists, as Elvin Gentry was talking about. Total turnovers was something that was really big. 18 of 11 points off of turnovers, 23 points off of turnovers given up by New Orleans Pelicans in this game. And they lost the fast break battle 12-9, but the points in the paint battle is really what it started out as. The Chicago Bulls beat them in the paint 72 points to 54. That's just asinine right there. They were dominated in the paint by the Chicago Bulls in this game, and that's what ultimately decided this game, if you think about it. The literal domination of the Bulls in the paint against this team. If you look at the game that they had against the Chicago Bulls, very interesting game. Now, of course, the Pelicans can learn from this. You heard what Frank Jackson said. You heard what Elvin Gentry said in this game. The Bulls had a little bit more pizzazz than what the Pelicans have. Pelicans have some parts that they're trying to get into place. Now, Julius Randle in his first game looked really good. Elfrid Payton struggled a bit. You can see he was a little bit uncomfortable, but you got to give him brownie points because eventually this team is going to come together. They struggled not because of a lack of effort, but they might have been doing too much, turning the ball over, like I said last year, and you guys follow me from last year, like I keep saying, if you have more than 12, maybe 15 turnovers, that's like you're teetering into the territory where you're ultimately really hurting yourself, meaning that you can end up possibly losing the game because of basically turning the ball over, giving the other team an opportunity to score. And a lot of those score points come in transition. So they can create swings and huge momentum swings in the game that ultimately end up hurting you. So the Pelicans have to be able to get those wrinkles ironed out as some of these pieces start to flow back in together. Of course, like I said, they were without two of their more accomplished shooters in Darius Miller and Nikolai Mirotic, but they did gain those guys back in the next game against the Hawks. Now, a little piece of information before we jot out to commercial. This game was really interesting. Of course, Anthony Davis ends up going back to home. He's from Chicago, born in Chicago. Chicago's hometown for AD. E'Twaun Moore played there during his career before he came to the Pelicans. At spurts, they looked good, of course. Now, if the main lineup had remained in the game, it might have been a different effect. You know it would have been a different effect. Of course, the team is trying to find its pieces together to kind of find the right mix of talent to help the team going into the regular season. So, very interesting day for the New Orleans Pelicans in this affair. So we'll see them get better in this game. We'll see them move forward. Now, on the injury list in this game, of course, Jahlil Okafor was a guy that got hurt in this game. Now, he stepped down wrong. And, of course, we know that he injured himself in this game. And ultimately, he's out for 2 weeks in this game, which was a sad thing for me because I'm one of the only, possibly one of the only guys, that actually think that Jahlil Okafor can actually help the team. But late in the fourth quarter, He looked terrific, by the way. He dunked on the other guy. He looked terrific. I mean, I love what I've seen from him in this game. 4 of 7 shooting against the Bulls, but ultimately sprained his ankle. Hopefully he'll be ready starting up the regular season, but that was a huge loss. You want to see him get back to shape. And, I mean, he looked real good, to think about it. I mean, he really looked good in this game against the Chicago Bulls. So too bad for Jahlil Okafor, but 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks with that sprained ankle. Not so much. It's not too bad. Hopefully he'll be ready for real action when the regular season come in. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But that'll do it for the Chicago Bulls breakdown. When we come back on the other side of the break, we'll get into our Atlanta Hawk breakdown of the second preseason game. You're listening to the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics. And autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because of the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registrars and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
What's up, sports world? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Postgame Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share, and help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.